To pre-order or not to pre-order? That is the question. In this episode, 52nd episode of Horrible Writing.
That will never work. You can't push that. Seriously? Don't. Oh my God, that's the other thing to do. That's bad. You probably should find other hobbies. You ever learn how to stop? Be happy? You don't. Don't bother. I've seen better. Do you really want to do? And my third grade. Give it up.
Welcome to Horrible Writing, the rawest, most candid, in-your-face writing show on the interwebs because none of us have time to suck. Let's do this. All right, hey everybody, your host Paul Sading. How are you doing? Happy Labor Day as of the recording of this. Those of you who are not on the YouTube with me will not hear this for quite a while. You'll actually be back from your camping trips, your beach trips, your barbecues, and hopefully all of you were safe and had a ton of fun. Cheyenne, welcome. I have 4 folks in with me on this live YouTube, so that shatters the previous record. I'm not going to get nervous. I swear I'm looking cool, calm, and collected on the camera. For those of you who are podcast-only listeners, please understand, all you have to do is either shell out more hard-earned money and support me as a patron, or sign up for the newsletter. You do either one of those two things, and I will make sure that you have the link for these episodes so you can join me live. One of the things I will be doing, as I announced last live session, was hanging out with, again, patrons and or newsletter subscribers, because I realize not everybody can and they can't necessarily forever support on Patreon. But they're still supporters of mine, and I want to pay back into the community. So today I've got actually 3 other writers with me, and super fan extraordinaire Adam Burke with me hanging out here. So we're going to do this thing, and we're going to talk about pre-orders. So here's the thing. Before we go off and do our Q&A after this, I wanted to get you here and topically talk about pre-orders. In writer circles, depending on who you listen to, opinions are like, you know what? Everybody's got one and everybody's right about theirs. And my experience throughout 2017, when I seriously said, okay, I'm not done with audio drama, but I'm going to shift my focus because I've always wanted to be a novelist. I've always wanted, you can't see it because the follow-on to Who Killed Julie is on the other side of the screen, little notes to myself, and I don't want to spoil that for anybody, obviously. But behind me, I have bookshelves, and on my bookshelf, I'm giving devil horns, because subconsciously, Adam made me do it with giving me devil horns on the chat. But I've got, my book, Chasing the Demon, but I've also got the proof for 12 Deaths of Christmas. And I'm sorry if it's a little self-serving and pretentious, but I actually set them side by side and leaned them on that bookshelf so I could see the 2 spines next to each other. I feel more legitimate since doing that than I ever have in my life when it comes to writing. Writers, what are you doing? What behaviors are you doing that serve you in a positive way, that encourage you? You're going to have dark days. You're going to have days of doubt, days that you are convinced you are the worst thing to ever put fingers on a keyboard or pen or however you create. I do that for me so that when I am having those dark days and I need an ass kick, I just go behind here and I go look at that bookshelf and remind myself, you're not Stephen King, but you know what? You're not half bad. So your life goal was to do this. You're doing it. Be happy. Little tip, tool, and tactic that helps me. But I've listened and I've researched and I read, and I belong to too many Facebook groups of established writers, and one of the topics that has historically always come up is, in this age of independent publishing, do you pre-order or not for your books? I'm an independent author. I can't imagine a day where I'm not. The only thing that will ever make me not be an independent author is for one of the big houses to come by and say, we love what you're doing. What do you have on your plate? Because we want to buy the rights to it. You know, and they're going to drop a six-figure. No, actually, I don't know if I'm lying about that because advances need to earn out. So thanks, Adam. I'm not sure. But anyways, I love being in control of my own destiny. That way I've got nobody to blame but myself. I can't whine and groan that somebody didn't do what they said. Small presses are right for some people. That's cool. They don't have a budget. They don't have marketing departments. Usually they're a person or a couple, meaning literally a intimate couple, and they do what they can to stay as near to black as they can. That means that they got to cut. And when they cut, it's going to be on your book. It's going to be on everybody's book. They don't have the money for a marketing department and buying you advertising space. So even with a small house, you're still going to be doing the social media stuff. You're still going to be buying the Facebook ads and things like that. And I don't want that. I'd just rather be in charge of it myself, release when I want to. You know, by the end of 2018, I'll have 3 books published. Before 2018, I had 0. So my first year of publishing, I'll have 3 books out there. And that's because I'm doing it all on my own. I'm not waiting for permission. I'm taking my space. And in this day and age, if I do anything on this show, it's to convince you to take your space. You belong here. Do the hard work. Spend the money on real cover art. Spend the money on real professional editing, even if you have to save up for 6 months to do it. But take your space. Don't let anybody tell you don't belong. So as it pertains to pre-orders, there's a portion of the world that says if you do it, it's going to kill you when your book goes live on that day. You're going to tank. And then there's people who will say, do it. And recurringly through that pre-order period, seed your audience with messages that the book is out there, that they can go pre-order it. And depending on it, this gets so complex, but depending on if you're exclusive to Amazon or if you're wide, meaning you're not exclusive to Amazon, you can have a different experience because those different places count your pre-orders differently. Now, I don't want to get too technical because it could be a lot of information to swallow, and it's something I've had to read about for months to grasp. Essentially, what happens is Amazon takes all of your pre-orders, and on day number 1, boom, they count all of them. So for Chasing the Demon, 3 months of pre-order, and it went live on June 10th. So on June 10th, boom, all these people bought this book, even though they didn't. They'd been buying it for 3 months. Whereas other places will count them as they come and rank you accordingly. And that's why it's important, because how your books are bought and the algorithm of the platform determines your visibility. Where you rank determines on how visible you are. When people are shopping for books, we don't go shopping for the top 1,000. Think of your own purchasing habits. You scroll through the top 10 or something along those lines, especially if it's from a company you've never heard of, i.e. the company being an author. You've never heard of them. So your ranking is one form of validation of the quality of your book, right? So that's why people are sketchy about it, and that's why they disagree. Again, I take my space. I'm not waiting for permission from anybody. I'm skeptical. Those of you who are X-Files fans, remember the tagline that would pop up on the episode after they did the intro? Right before they went to the episode, it would say, trust no one, across the top, right? So I trust no one. I need to experience this for myself and see what it's about. And that's what I did with Chasing the Demon. That's what I'm doing for 12 Deaths of Christmas. I'm doing pre-orders. Why would I do it for the very next book when I've already done it for one? Why wouldn't I want to compare? Had 12 Deaths of Christmas not been a seasonal thing, right? It's a horror book, but it's very themed. I'm taking all these Christmas songs that you love, I took the titles and made really screwed up stories, horror stories about them. So I have to hit that window of people getting ready to buy for the Christmas season. People thinking of, I've got a loved one who likes horror. What could I get them? I want you thinking about 12 Deaths of Christmas to get them as a Christmas gift, right? So I've got that factor weighing heavily. If this had just been a regular book, maybe the first in a series or another horror novel, I would not have done a pre-order. So if that helps somebody, please think about that. But that's why I'm doing this as a pre-order as well. Now, what I will do as an analyst, thank you, Adam. I hope people feel the same when they read it. As an analyst, I'm going to compare the two experiences. Chasing the Demon got a lot of noise. The podcast that it was adapted from was in its second season, so it was releasing episodes. So the timing was right to talk about it, and it got a lot of push. So much so that when it debuted on June 10th, and those of you who belong to the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group, which launched yesterday, so August 30th, by the time the public hears this, it'll be a couple weeks old. But wow, that group exploded in activity, and we're doing a lot of social learning. So if you're a new writer, if you're a new author, or Tim's here, Tim Niederreiter, I interviewed him on this show. He's even in the group sharing his insight, expertise. And we're going to really leverage the horrible writing community. So if you want to be part of it, make sure you go out there and look for it. But we did an assignment yesterday, and it's open, so anybody can go do it as their schedule allows. But I'm asking folks to go analyze their top 5 authors in one genre that they're writing in. And I set the example. As a horror writer, I wanted to go find 5 authors to do this assignment on. And all I asked them to do at this point was to understand how Amazon rankings look, how to find them, and what they look like. And we're going to start a discussion on analyzing what it means across the genres. And we had a great conversation with my horror contribution. We had vampire genre, and then we had, I'm blanking on the third one. It was mystery and thrillers. So we were doing some analysis, and they have an idea of where those books ranked. I have no name. Chasing the Demon was my first novel. Podcast people might know a few podcast people might know who I am, but the book buying community has no idea who I am, and rightfully so. Chasing the Demon went live on June 10th. It ranked 358th, not 358,000, 358 in science fiction and fairy tales, 456 in myth and folklore, and 527 in all ebooks on that first day for somebody with nothing to his name. So when somebody tells you that pre-orders don't work, I already am very skeptical of anything else they will sell. It worked. I got in the top 500 of 2 categories and just missed the top 500 on all ebook sales in the Kindle store. As a nobody, no back catalog, no news. I mean, I've got a newsletter group, but it's not massive. It's not even 4 digits yet. So it does work. It's what you do after that impacts your visibility. So what I learned from Chasing the Demon was after that window closes for pre-orders, I need to already have ads in place in Amazon Marketing Services, AMS, Facebook, maybe even Twitter. Who knows? We'll play around. Looking at BookBub, things along those lines. I sold far more paperbacks than I ever would have imagined. I thought I'd only sell to family. Wasn't the case. People actually geeked out about paperback. They wanted the paperback, not the digital. I said, I can only control so much of Amazon's pricing structure. I have to sell it at this minimum of $9.99. I don't want to. I have to. People didn't care. They wanted the paperback, and they supported me. Downloads of Subject Found, the podcast it was based on, grew. My newsletter grew because of this. I stayed in the top 100 of those categories, or the top 1,000 of those categories for quite a while. I've got my spreadsheet, and I will share it in the Horrible Writing Writers Support Group on Facebook. So if you want this insight, you need to go over there and become part of our community and help. We're there to help each other. But I'll show you how it changed as it got older after the pre-order, where I did some advertising and how that affected it. You'd be surprised how effective that pre-order launch was compared to when I started giving Amazon money to put it on people's Kindles, to put it on their emails. Hey, you might like this book, kind of thing. So, and again, I'm doing it for 12 Deaths of Christmas because I want to compare those two things, and I want to see how they do compare. So that's my pre-order experience for my debut novel. When 12 Deaths goes live on Thanksgiving, I will watch it for a while, and probably at the beginning of 2019, we'll sit down and we'll do this again, if I'm still alive, and have that chat so I can help you understand only from my experience. Look, folks, I've got a master's degree in marketing, and I'm not very smart. I will always caveat things like that, but I do understand that relationship marketing carries a lot. If you trust me, it doesn't mean my word is gospel, but you know I'm not in it to win it for myself. I'm here to help you as I've been helped by others like Joanna Penn and Susan K. Quinn, you know, those wonderful people. And I know I'm very big on the pay it forward principle. And I know some of you are going to be amazing authors, and your mission is to remember, if I made a positive impact for you, that you owe it to the next person to make it easier for them. So that's what we're all here. I'm all about the community. So at this point, I've got a bunch of people chatting with me, and I want to go talk to them because they're there for me. Dark days, bright days, financially. You know, I can't pay for 4 podcasts through the skin of my teeth. My wife would kill me. She's not here. I can share that information. So I couldn't do it without people who support me, and I want to be able to support them too. So if you want to be part of this chat, if you want to be part of this community, again, you can check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Paul Sading. Just go over to paulsading.com, see what I've got going on out there. You can sign up for the newsletter over there and catch the special deals like the people in the newsletter and the patrons did when they got 12 Deaths of Christmas for a special price before everybody else did. In saying that, I know you're going to hear this after Labor Day, but I still want to wish you all a happy, safe Labor Day weekend. And again, join the groups. I am there. There are some amazing people who are there. Author Paul Sading Facebook page as well is all about me. That sounds bad to say, but the Horrible Writing Writers Support Group is not. So go definitely check it out. I will put it in the show notes when this podcast actually goes live. But until then, next episode, I've got Jamie Killen from Audio Drama. She's also an author. We talk about that, but she got her start as an audio dramatist on Spines, The 6 Disappearances of Ella McRae, and Mirrors. Her and I talk about the things that scare her and how it affected her writing, and it's a really cool chat. So be looking for that then. And until otherwise, you know what to do. Keep being epic.
This has been Horrible Writing, and hopefully after this episode, you suck less than you did at the beginning. I am Paul Sading, your host extraordinaire. You can find me over on the Twitterverse @WritingHorrible and over at paulsading.com/horrible-writing. Until next time, suck less.